This is Empress. Hey family. So I'm here today at the Fannie Lou Hamer Community Garden. I just had a great tour. I just wanted to come out here and just show you all what we're doing. We're preparing for our repatriation education in regards to techniques, different types of flowers, buds, of food that we can use and grow to sustain ourselves. When we go to Africa, because that's going to be essential, we're going to learn different types of composting techniques, as well as of fertilization, and also what kind of soils will be great for depending on what kind of terrain we're in. It's going to be really informative. It's a lot of information. And also this brother is also doing things as helping the community, educating youth in regards to gardening, and this is some of the things that we need to do more. Thank you for going along this journey with me. I'm in Adams Morgan, and it's been a long and trying day, long trying weekend. So much has happened. I'm not going to even discuss it. I had a very interesting conversation with my sister-in-law. You know, it's just the culture differences between Africans born in America and Africans born on the continent. It's so stark, because we here, you know, the diasporas, we're very European. And I love my sister. She's Ethiopian. Love her. I love her. But we saw last night, definitely, how different we really are. How different we really are. I'm going to see if we can do like a open dialogue, because my goal is to bridge this gap between us. The question: would she be open to do a sit-down talk? We diasporans want to come back to Africa, but we want to come back as a community. So we are on our way. Where are we on our way to, Seth?
We're visiting a local farmer. One of the things that we're focusing on in our revolution now is controlling our resources and our food that comes into our community, connecting with local farmers, indigenous farmers, to get your food, support them with
Have you heard
production.
about Kwanzaa? Celebrate for 7 days. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebrate Kwanzaa. Celebrate Kwanzaa. Have you heard about Umoja? Celebrate unity. Umoja, Umoja. Celebrate Umoja. Umoja, Umoja. Celebrate Umoja.
I love you too. Black Sisters Matter.
Yeah.
Have you heard about Kujichagulia? Celebrate self-determination. Kujichagulia. 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 Kujichagulia.
Right.
You know, we're getting our minds prepared.
Right.
You know, getting rid of things, purging. You know, getting our affairs in order so that we can make a smooth transition.
Have you heard about Ujima? Celebrate cooperation. Ujima, Ujima. Celebrate Ujima. Ujima, Ujima. Celebrate Ujima. Have you heard about Ujima?
We're not encouraged to farm, because farming is big money.
Have you heard about Ujima? Celebrate sharing. Ujima, Ujima. Celebrate Ujima. Ujima, Ujima. Celebrate Ujima.
Homesteading is like, you know, you got your own home and farm on it. I think this is what it means. It's like your own home and your farm, and you're like self-sufficient with your farm.
Have you heard about Nia? Celebrate purpose. Nia, Nia, celebrate Nia. Nia, Nia, celebrate Nia.
And the process of it, and everything she shared with me about farming, it made me like not even want to put my hand in dirt. But at the same time, my mother was in her backyard in the garden every day.
Have you heard about Kuumba? Celebrate creativity. Kuumba, Kuumba, celebrate Kuumba. Kuumba, Kuumba, celebrate Kuumba.
Finally, because I don't have a green thumb and I'm really working on it, I want to learn.
Right.
I want to. You have a great garden.
Thank you. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress.
What you got in your garden?
Have you heard about Imani? Celebrate faith. Imani, Imani, celebrate Imani. Imani, Imani, celebrate Imani.
Twabble, I went to Twabble's house last night, and my baby is picking up the tradition. Twabble has an indoor garden.
Have you heard about Kwanzaa? Celebrate for 7 days. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebrate Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebrate Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebrate Kwanzaa.
You know what I'm happy about?
What's that?
I'm happy that we're repatriating together because I'm gonna learn a lot from you.
And you too, learning from you, inshallah.
What you gonna learn from me?
How to cook. She's a good cook. She can burn in that kitchen now.
That's what I.
She can cook.
That's gonna be can you imagine when we go to Africa, we have a nice garden, a nice little farm.
I heard stuff. I heard you can put a seed in the ground. You can stand in the ground and just start growing. It's so fertile.
Yeah,
What exit?
it says
Umoja means unity. You and me living together in one big family. Umoja is unity. You and me living forever in love and harmony. Unity. One wide blue sky above us. One bright yellow sun to light the days. One Mother Earth who holds us. Now doesn't it all just seem to say that we are all one world? Why not be one heart and mind? One community. That is what
They're not finished.
They can go taller than that?
Yeah, we just finished planting these.
I don't think I've seen them this tall in a long time.
wow, they are amazing.
You know what's funny about that?
Kujichagulia,
All right.
self-determination. Have the power to decide now who you are. No one else could ever be you. You have something very special to do. Do that something for the world to see.
Yeah, let's get this straight.
You are someone with your very own name. You are someone with a purpose and aim. Be that someone and you'll find you are free.
Let them know how
Be
we
free. Who I'm gonna be
is a choice for me.
finished and just cleaned up.
I love your garden.
I wanted to be up here when the people were here.
I love this.
It's Raw Unk Wellness.
Raw Unk Wellness. We'll get it from you.
Fine.
So what kind
Look at
of?
all the different plants.
I know.
Rebecca just fed the chickens all the tomatoes and spoil fruit.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, I got chickens down there. If you want to see,
Yeah.
I lock up and go down.
Oh, nice.
Trying to see too.
I love that live life spirit.
Yeah, so
The tour was growing.
Yeah, I love
see
it.
Some herbs.
Yeah, because we're right now we're just really trying to learn as much as we can here. So when we go back, we can start using the tools that we learned here to take it there.
Would you be able to plant some things that we grow here there? Or
Some things,
Some things you can't.
you can't because it will mess with the
Invasive species,
They're
right.
invasive, yeah.
what country is it?
Uh,
I was in East Africa. I went to Tanzania.
that's one of the ones I'm really thinking about too, because so many people say good things about that place.
And I went to Zanzibar.
I've heard a lot about that city. Okay. Do you like it?
I did. I like Tanzania better. I guess I liked it better just because of the amount of time I spent there and then walking around mingling with folks. You know, I was there at the end of their winter. It wasn't quite spring yet. So they were growing all of our fall crops. They were growing Swiss chard. Swiss chard was everywhere. Like I thought Swiss chard was something that, you know,
That was only here. Well, you know what I learned? A lot of the when they brought us over, they also brought our food over.
Swiss chard was something that culturally that we ate, you know.
I didn't know that either.
By me going over there, seeing it, I saw that we grow Swiss chard. It's something that's widely used. You know, I didn't see a lot of conventional spinach. You know, Bloomingdale spinach and those different kind of varieties.
Wait a minute, I'm lost. What's Bloomingdale?
Those different varieties of spinach.
Okay, I'm learning.
All I know is the spinach and then the baby spinach.
Yeah.
What other country did you visit?
It was just Zanzibar and Tanzania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, how long did you stay there?
A week in each place.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was good.
That's
You haven't
nice.
been to West or North Africa yet?
No, not yet.
When you go, you're gonna love it.
Not yet.
You're gonna love it. I can't wait to get back. I'm itching.
Yeah.
I'm
They had
itching.
Fig trees and I saw corn. I saw a lot of genetically modified corn.
Oh, really? They have really?
I saw a lot of corn in Egypt too.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they feed their animals with?
I'm not sure, but I did see people eating it. Like they
All right, brother.
like they have street vendors that roast corn
Yes.
in Egypt and they eat it. Yeah.
Yes.
They eat it like a snack, like like a
Okay.
hot dog. They just grab it and walk with it and eat. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I try to stay away from corn as much as possible.
Because it's GMO.
And I love corn. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but I taught myself it's for animals. Because I always think of slavery. I get caught up. I'd be like, that's what they feed animals. I don't want to be an animal.
Maybe we
Anyway.
can eat it. We can grow it naturally over there.
There's a lot of heirloom varieties of corn.
Yeah.
You know, corn. A lot of these foods were backbones for civilization throughout
Right.
history.
Right.
So there's hundreds of varieties of different kind of corn that we don't even see.
That's true.
You know.
All the multicolored ones that the natives had.
Yeah, because I started seeing that during, what was it, in the winter when they do like those decorative ones. And I was like,
Our native ancestors ate different varieties of corn in different sizes. Then they had a blue corn. There was a black one too, which
Yes.
I've never tried. I've had blue corn. There's a red one. Then there's one
Yes.
that's multicolored.
And all those things, those foods are not just different in color, they're different in nutrients. All those antioxidants have higher amounts of nutrition, and that's what the backbone of civilization. That's how you can look at an ancient civilization, and it's like all they had was corn in this. They ate corn in this, corn in that. Well, they
Yeah,
could
that's true.
because they cultivated that corn to be a superfood that was very nutritionally dense, not depleted like the corns that we have
that's
here.
where I'm stuck on what's here.
Yeah, super sweet variety of corns.
Okay.
Because food has a history, and I mean, it's so much to learn about. It's not just what we eat to sustain ourselves. It's like you said, you have the history. It has a culture. You know, we ate food because of their nutrition.
You know, amazed at all the
Because they
bees
store
I'm
long.
seeing.
Yeah, that too. They can store long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the super sweet corn, some of the corn that's on the market now actually has a history that goes back to the military industrial complex, where they did tests on corn kernels after they expose those corn kernels to radiation
Oh, really?
Oh wow. Okay.
through atom bomb testing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's an interesting history. I'll send you.
Frankenstein food.
Yeah,
I'll send you,
that's what they call it, though,
clip
isn't
from
it?
a book.
Frankenstein
I
food?
think so.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know it went that deep. Okay. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because certain foods, in order, we're not talking about GMOs. Certain foods, in order for their seed to change, the original corn was like a grain of grass, like a piece of grass, and only had like a couple kernels on top of it. You know, I can't recall the name. But in order for that corn to change into the ear that you see, it had to go through some natural mutations. The last ones to make the super sweet corns were unnatural mutations that were brought about by exposing to that radiation. Yeah,
What does
Love
that
it.
do to your body when you eat it?
I guess we see it in the population.
Yeah, I mean, think about all,
We see it
like,
in animals.
Cancer and
the
stuff like that.
I'm thinking of cancer, mucus, tumors.
It's a cumulative effect on the body
Yeah.
that, in conjunction with everything else we're exposed to, it's not just one thing, but you know, it's a
Yeah.
cumulative effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and this farm, that's what's important too. This is the
Yeah.
Fannie Lou Hamer Sundiata Coley farm, what we call the Tubman House farm.
It's called, say the name again?
The Fannie Lou Hamer Sundiata Coley farm.
Okay.
But this is Tubman House, so we call it for short Tubman House.
And this is for the community here, or is it just for a certain group of families?
It's for the community here. Again, excuse the grass.
Yeah.
We've been really focused on distributing food. We distribute food to 800 people a week.
What?
Thousands of pounds of meat, organic milk this week. Everything from Pampers to toothbrush, soap, dish soap, sponges, all those sorts of things. We give out food here, and we deliver food to elders and other people in this community. So our focus has been more so on getting that food out than any food production. But yeah,
So this
How long
garden
have you been
needs a little
doing
love.
this?
I've been the farm manager of this farm for 5 years. Yeah, but I've done agriculture in Baltimore, everything from workshops on how to start your own self-watering containers,
Right.
to making vermicompost bins, to making sprouts.
I would like to learn how
food
to do.
preservation.
I would love to learn to do compost.
Okay.
Cause that's something we have to learn to
Yeah, I
do
talked-
over there.
we'll work out some workshop. He said he would be willing to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we really need to learn this because
We didn't get it in
We-
school.
we didn't
That's
get it.
You know, basic survival. You know?
yeah.
The science of survival, the science of agriculture. You know?
Oh wow, you do a
Because this was all row houses. This house right here was actually what was called Tubman House. And
What, this house right
no,
here?
it was actually a house.
Oh.
And this was the rest of the
Oh,
block.
okay.
So that's good that the neighbor they converted it into something that the community can use. So that's a great idea.
Okay.
So because the
Holistic.
soil it was, had certain levels of heavy metals and other contaminants. We made our own soil and brought in our own soil. So
Okay,
we
good.
use a raised bed box method.
Okay.
There's a landscape fabric underneath of it
Okay.
to separate that soil and those plants from the parent soil.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
we filled this box with mushroom compost, different kind of more dynamic compost, and topsoil.
Okay.
And so you use organic compost. Okay.
Use organic compost. The mushroom compost, I wouldn't consider it organic, but it's a good soil amendment that doesn't have a lot of pesticides or herbicides in it. I'm sure you can find organic mushroom compost, but it's a spent product that comes from growing mushrooms.
I
You
see,
can buy it out of
okay.
Pennsylvania.
And so, at some point in time, do you think the soil will be safe enough to grow straight from the ground? Because I know there are some plants I heard that put nutrients back into the soil. Is that possible, or you will always have to use the raised beds here?
There are ways to reclaim the soil, right? But it takes time. It takes time, and it takes certain practices. It's a method to it. One of those plants that you're speaking about is sunflowers.
Oh, okay.
Sunflowers are able to bioaccumulate pesticides, herbicides, heavy metals, and even radiation in their stalks, and roots, and in their seeds.
So how are they used in with the garden? Because I always see people, and I always wonder this, and I know it was a reason, but I never asked. So how do you incorporate the sunflowers with the plants? And like, I see these are separate. So do you like use the soil to refertilize the other plants, or is it bee generation? Because I'm seeing all the bees. What?
It might, probably pollinate.
You know, like
Now that you
pollination.
mentioned it, whenever you see gardens in the city,
See-
you always
see
see sunflowers. 'Cause I
sunflowers.
thought they were using them just for beauty, but they're pollinators.
They're pollinators too, so it could be multiple uses. There's been times when we've used sunflowers as part of the
look
as
at
part
that.
of the Three Sisters, where we would grow sunflowers, have beans that run under it, and grow squash underneath for the sunflowers. You know,
Because
not
the
as thickly
shade
dense.
from the sunflower
Exactly.
leaves will protect the squash plants.
Exactly, and then the beans would add nitrogen
To the soil.
to the soil for both, and then they have something to naturally run up. But our first year here, some of the youth that were here, they're not outside right now, but the first year they were here, what the youth did was they waited till these heads got ripe like this. It's not quite ripe yet. Cut the heads off of the sunflowers, cleaned up the seeds, right? Washed them, soaked them in salt water, and then we brought a toaster oven out here, and they seasoned them. They made a barbecue
Sunflower seeds, yes.
because we know we love seeds in the
So,
hood.
oh my God!
So then they took-
It just hit me just now. It just hit me right now. Sunflower seeds.
And they bagged them, and they weighed them, and they designed a label, and they sold them
Oh, wow.
throughout the
Look
hood.
you can see the little grains of
They sold them
pollen.
throughout
How
the neighborhood.
did I not correlate the two?
Yeah.
You can see the little grains of pollen
Let me see.
up close.
Now this one's
You
ready.
can see tiny little yellow.
This one's ready.
Okay.
So what you would do is
Oh, wow, they just
take
fall
that off there like that. And you can see all the beautiful seeds that's underneath there.
Oh my
See the
goodness.
perfection of nature.
And you can let this dry a little bit longer, you know. But you don't want to leave it
Oh,
out
wow,
here
you
too
can
long.
see all of them in there.
Because then, leave it out here too long, then the birds will get to it,
To it.
and they'll eat them too.
Yeah.
But and then they also have some.
Squirrels too, probably.
No squirrels here. We got rats.
Right? City living.
Well, the birds, give
Oh,
things.
so
they'll eat
you
too.
actually cut it on. Okay.
cut
And you can
off.
see the seeds there.
Yeah. And then you would take these seeds. You can let this dry a little bit longer. The
So you
center-
see where your food comes from. It's a nice trip for
Yes.
But you could let this dry a little bit longer, or you can just let's see what they look like inside. You would
you. Now,
wash these.
when you cut this, will this kill this plant, or it will continue to grow more sunflowers?
It depends. If it's one of our second year sunflowers that we grow from seed, they'll produce more. There you go.
Look at
Pretty
that.
little kernel in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gift from the Creator. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
Yeah, but you need to soak them right in water, and you want to avoid seeds that look like that. You see that dust? So there's a pest that's in there.
Oh.
But when you put it in water, you'll be able to distinguish. There was a caterpillar in there that ate the seed and came out.
Okay.
Oh, that's why it looks like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember.
So how do you know which ones have?
You know how
the
sometimes you get a bag
caterpillar?
of sunflower seeds
Sometimes
and,
they
then,
empty.
and it's hollow, and you're like, what is this?
That's what it looked like before they put all that nice, tasty
Uh-huh.
seasoning
Okay.
So how do you tell which? How do you know which ones have been eaten and which ones are not?
Well, you look for growing food. If you grow food, you also have to know how to protect the food that you grow, so you need to know the life cycle of pests, especially if you're doing organic. Even if you're not doing organic, you need to know what pests affect what plants, when and how, and what are your
Can you eat these raw?
mitigating factors. Yes, you could.
Soak them first.
You can eat it raw, though.
Oh, that one's fine.
So, like, you look for telltale signs like that. That's damage from a caterpillar.
Caterpillar, yeah.
Yeah. You'll
Hungry caterpillar.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
You'll see the whole
You got in
holes.
there.
Yeah. Some of the caterpillars have come out. Some of them have not come out yet.
That's why you soak it, because they say.
Right. You soak it, and the ones that have the caterpillars in it, they'll look different. They'll either sink or float, but they'll be different.
Oh, because they're empty.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's something
You
new.
know.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So yeah, you just peel this part away.
Let's see.
Let the ants and the
Put them back in
wasps
there.
deal with the rest of that.
Right.
Some of these that may
Put
be
'em back in
viable,
there.
there'll be sunflowers that'll come up next year. But anyways, yeah, you can tell where the damage is, but then you can tell where your good sunflower seeds are. So that's how you would do that.
Do you all use any kind of natural pesticides out here?
No, not currently.
Oh, okay.
In general, we may only have to make up a natural pesticides for something like white flies that affects kale. You know, some like the fall crop, there was kale in most of these boxes. Kale, broccoli, collards. Especially the kale, if they grow too close together, you don't have a lot of airflow through it, and it's damp or moistness, then you'll have this kind of insect. It's called a white flies. It's very, very tiny, but you hit the plant and they kind of fly off of it.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So a simple solution for them is to use some soap and water.
Okay.
You know, you can use like a Dr. Bonner's like super sud soap. You know, you can put some garlic in it for extra credit, or you know, some tea tree oil or peppermint oil. You know.
Oh, I'm about to scratch my arm.
I said for extra credit, but all those things are
I
natural.
used extra credit. That's right.
But they'll do the trick. The soap and the water spraying underneath of the leaves.
Right.
And spraying on top is really what you want to do, not when the sun is shining.
Okay.
That's for kale and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that works for that. But
Okay.
yeah, so that's what you would do with this. And you can
I'm loving that.
experiment with this. Take this home if you want.
Oh, you want to take it home?
You can.
Like I saw them worms in there.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, we sit here, get it later.
So that's what sunflowers look like
Yeah, so this is food here, you know?
before you get you to the pack.
Yeah. So
I
it's
did
beautiful,
not-
but it's food. You can also get oil from this. So you could
Sunflower
press
oil.
sunflower oil from this. You know?
Wow. Oh,
So it has
sunflower
some
oil, yeah.
uses. And again, like I said, if you were using it to try to clean up a brown field or soil that was contaminated, you would grow sunflowers on it, but you can't eat it. And you can't leave it to compost. You would remove the sunflowers, all of it, the root, the head, the stalk. You need to remove it from the soil because it has the contaminants in it. You're trying to take the contaminants from the soil, so then you would need to dispose of it in a proper way. Other things, you can put down lots of organic material, lots of mulch. There's it's a bunch of grass here now, but every year, probably 5 times a year, it's cardboard put down here and mulch on top of it.
What does the cardboard do?
So laying cardboard down and mulching over top of it is a technique that's called sheet mulching, and it's used to block out weeds. But it's also used to create soil.
Okay.
So part of growing food is not just making the food, but also creating the soil that's necessary for making that food. And then when you have soil that's like this, there was once row houses, the soil needs to be more dynamic. You need to add life into it. The soil was dead. It didn't have no insects. It didn't have any microbes. It didn't have any mycorrhiza, the fungi that is like the highway for nutrients that moves throughout the soil. So yeah, putting the mulch down is one way to do that. Using good cardboard, it just breaks down over time. Worms love to eat the cardboard.
Right, so that's how you're attracting them in. Okay.
Yeah, as well as other little microbes. It creates the conditions that allow for more life to happen in the soil, and life in the soil is what you need.
Mashallah, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
This is helpful.
So I mean,
To make a nice tincture, what is this good for? Because I've heard of hyssop and anise, but not this one.
And this is what kind of hyssop? Is this one kind of hyssop?
anise.
Anise hyssop. Okay.
So it's a cleanser.
It's a cleanser.
It's
It
a cleanser
smells
of the
really-
body. You can take a bath in it. You can make a poultice with it.
Smells
You know,
good.
It's healing in that, soothing to the skin. You know,
Okay, I like the smell.
Yeah.
It has many different uses. It's also an expectorant, so it's good for getting mucus out the body. You know, you can kind of
cool.
smell the licorice.
Yeah, it smells like
smell.
licorice. Yeah.
The pollinators love it. The little bees, you see little tiny mason bees coming. Really teeny tiny bees. We always
that's
learn
what
about.
they are?
Yeah, we always learn about honeybees, but it's these little tiny bees that come to these little multi-cone flowers. They do a lot of the work, you know, pollinating.
I'm seeing so many like flying little
Insects.
insects.
And look, is that a grasshopper there?
That is a grasshopper.
Right.
Yeah,
Haven't seen
they
one.
would do
all
something like this.
Right.
Put a nice big hole in there. But yeah, got some other herbs here. They're just growing here. We got oregano.
Yes.
Oh, that's oregano.
Got some thyme that's down here.
Yeah, that's. Oh yeah, we know our time. That's one of our favorite cooking. Yes.
Sage bush that's been there.
Oh, oh God, that smells so good.
Oh yeah. Now where's the sage bush?
Put it anywhere. Sage bush is here.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is sage. This is really good for cooking,
So this is sage.
and you can also use it as a medicinal herb too.
It's an immune booster.
This is not the kind of sage that you use for like smudging your home. It's a different kind of sage.
Yeah, this is not white sage.
Right.
However,
White sage is on the tree, isn't it?
white sage grows in a bush too.
Bush.
But it's a sage variety.
I'm thinking, is it eucalyptus? I'm thinking.
You thinking about eucalyptus?
Yeah.
Oh wow, look at that big cattle.
Yeah,
You
we
get a
need more
picture of
frogs here. But yeah, you can burn this now. It's just not the same.
Okay.
And
me try to get a
one
picture of
thing
that.
is that burning white sage, it's a sage that grows wild. It's not cultivated enough, and sometimes people harvest it wild, and what happens is you're depleting a natural resource of something that takes time to grow.
Okay.
So we should consider either growing our own white sage for smudging, or looking at different alternatives.
Okay.
Just because everything in agriculture, when it comes to money, is exploited. And we got to ask ourselves, how is that tied into our practices and what we do?
Right, right.
Are we adding to that exploitation? So yeah.
It smells so wonderful
It
over
does, it
here.
does.
It smells so amazing.
And then have you noticed how the leaves here, no insects are eating them because they repel certain types of insects.
So is this something that's good to grow in your garden for that?
It's definitely.
Basil and there's little bees.
It's
Lots
also
of
a
bees.
good pollinator. It gets beautiful purple flowers.
Oh,
But medicinally, yes, definitely should have sage. Back there too that a community member made. You want to get a look at that.
Okay, yeah.
Cook with it, make syrups with it, make tinctures with it. Use hair rinses with it, put in baths, smudge it. Yeah, sage is a very important plant. It has a lot of benefits.
Okay. Yeah, I'm loving it. Look at that little grasshopper is no joke.
Yeah, I took a picture of it.
He is in there.
Over here,
I'm gonna go around.
this way.
Oh, we don't want to hurt the plants. Thank you.
Yeah, we just.
What's this flower?
That's zinnia.
And so is it important to grow flowers in it? 'Cause I also see a lot of gardeners have like colorful flowers that aren't edible.
Yeah, they have their benefit for pollinators, at least here in this kind of situation, especially when you're growing food and it's not a for-profit, or even when it is for-profit, but beautification is always important. Even though, this isn't as beautiful as it can be, everybody...
To me, it's very beautiful.
Thank
It's
you.
more than I could ever do right now. I'm going to get where you are. I'm going to surpass it. Inshallah, God will. I want to get away from
It's a
being dependent on
volunteer,
the grocery stores and things like that, on things that we could grow ourselves. And start eating seasonally again.
Yes.
But I think it's the reason why we, that things grow in certain seasons, because there's certain benefits that we would get from that within that season.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
right.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, we should. Those tomatoes, those are volunteers. So those are just seeds from last year.
Oh, okay.
And that tomato plant, But yeah, back to your thing about flowers. Flowers bring pollinators. They also bring beneficial insects that eat your pest insects. So if you have flowers, then you have pollinators, not just bees, but you have flies, you have moths. We have a lot of those insects that then bring in spiders. And then spiders are some of the insects that help control, your grasshoppers, your cabbage moths. Yeah, your aphids, lacewings, another beneficial insect for your...
Wait a minute, what are lacewings?
They have, if I could show you one, it would be better, but they're a little green insect that eat caterpillar and aphids. Your ladybugs, they love flowers and different kind of plants.
And ladybugs are good pollinators?
Ladybugs are good predatory plant insects. They're good insects for your garden. They will eat aphids.
They eat aphids.
Yeah, they're voracious.
Okay.
Especially in their larvae form. It's a wrong time of year to see it.
Caterpillar looking.
Yes.
I've seen them.
Yes.
Okay. So
Doesn't look like a ladybug.
No.
But looks like these insects are like the wolves in this world on a micro level.
And we're so busy trying to kill them all.
Yeah, did we miss
We
that?
don't want to kill them. We want because they help benefit.
Because also they also help bring certain nutrients to the ground
soil.
too, right? The soil.
Yeah, because there's all sorts of little insects that live in the soil too, you know.
Okay, what about
But
this
it
one behind
flowers.
you? On the left.
This one is called shiro or beefsteak or rattlesnake basil or wild basil.
Oh, that's a basil.
Or yeah.
Oh wow.
The leaves look like another plant.
There's
That's
another
why I wanted to show.
flew away. See that little insect right there?
Mm-hmm.
That's a parasitic wasp, and it's looking for spiders or caterpillars right now.
Okay. The bugs.
On the biodiversity.
Yeah.
Lots of all them grasshoppers over there. This is the most I've seen all year. Let me see that one. Smell
Yeah.
that. This is, say it
Can
again,
I
wild
see-
basil.
Yeah, wild
What is-
rattlesnake basil.
It doesn't even smell like basil.
It's been an ingredient that's added to root beer at one time.
Oh, I can
I
smell
smelled
that.
the
I can
root
smell
beer.
that.
That's what I was like.
So this is the root that was in root beer.
Root
Okay.
beer.
It does have that smell.
Root beer is like is a combination of roots and plants. Sassafras.
Sassafras. Okay, yeah.
Some other things, you know.
because I can smell the root beer smell
yeah,
in
yeah,
that.
you smell it. Yeah, yeah. So these things were stuff that we had that, you know, before they were sodas, they were just fermented beverages.
Yeah.
That had,
Okay.
they were living with microorganisms, like a kombucha.
Okay.
Yeah. I started getting into fermenting. I got my fermenting bottles and those
Okay.
things, and making my natural sodas and drinks.
Isn't it?
Yes.
This is stinging nettles.
What is this?
Stinging nettles.
Stinging nettles. Okay.
Yeah. So the stinging nettle seeds are very good. Stinging nettles is a superstar here. Stinging nettles is probably the most nutritious thing that's ever been here, regardless of what you grow. Tomatoes, collards, kale, corn.
I've used it in its dried form.
Yeah.
It's my first time seeing it.
How did you use it in a dry form?
Well, I use it to make teas, and it's great for like blood cleanser, and it's good for
I probably
moms.
need
It's
to
for
get some
womb
of that
health.
myself.
It's really good for that.
Yeah.
Combined with raspberry leaf, it's good for that.
Yeah, it's good for lactation.
Increasing breast milk, so yeah.
Oh, you know what? I did drink that when I was pregnant.
Nettles, right?
Yeah,
but that's
when
what
I
it
was
looked like.
nursing. That's right.
And then the seeds are good for boosting testosterone. They're good for
Oh,
muscle
okay.
recovery after athletic.
I didn't know that. That's
for
the first time I
athletic
heard that.
performance and stuff.
So the seeds you can make a tea out of it, or you just eat them.
Mosquito. Yeah. So the seed you would just harvest like that, and you could dry it. I just freeze it and then put it in smoothies.
Oh, you
Great
can freeze
idea.
it like that?
Yeah. just
I'm gonna
freeze
try
it
that.
like
Okay.
Okay.
And so you said it's good for the testosterone and muscle soreness after workout.
Yeah, it's good for how would I say it? I would say athletic performance.
Athletic
You know,
performance.
because it has a stinging nettles from the root to the leaf to the seed have a host of micronutrients, trace minerals.
Okay.
You know, it's been touted to be one of the most nutritious plants. They're land-based. You know, you only see this kind of nutrition with iodine in it once you look at like sea vegetables.
Right.
You know, but nettles has that. And I just use this I use this as a teaching tool with youth, just to tell them, because there's a couple other herbs that have some stories behind them. But nevertheless, the seeds, you just harvest the seeds. This time of year is not really the time of year where you want to harvest the leaves. If you do, you just want like the first like tip of the plant. You don't want any. You really want to harvest the leaves in the spring.
Okay.
But right now it's the seeds, and then soon once you get to the fall, you can harvest the root.
So you know how to harvest seeds as well as the leaves.
Yeah.
It
It depends on the plant.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But
But that shows you also the beauty of nature, how nature is perfect, and
How did you get into this?
everything can be used in
Exactly.
some form.
How did you initially get into just gardening? Because you're
My-
very knowledgeable.
My father, my grandparents,
Got
my
it.
grandfather, they were all sharecroppers. You know, so my aunts on my father's side, sharecroppers.
And those of us who have those kind of ancestors are blessed. Their struggle is going to be our blessing.
Yeah. I was inspired as a child by the stories of resilience and the ability to be able to use the land as your as your healer, as your food, you know, everything. You know, the hardship I understood, but all the rest of the lesson is the lessons of what made such a lasting impression on me. So I would say that's one of the most important things.
Yeah, I love it. My mom, you know, grew up going to the farm on the summer, and she just shared how much she hated it because she used to go to Kentucky. She's from Massachusetts, city girl in Massachusetts, and in the summer would have to go to Kentucky on the farm.
Wow.
So she hated it, and she would talk about, you know, the chickens and ringing the chickens and you know, cleaning chitterlings, and so she never pushed me to learn those skills. But I remember growing up, she was always in our backyard gardening, growing things, and I used to look at her like, I ain't putting my hands in the dirt. So it kind of like, I wish she kind of pushed me to get in the dirt with her, because now I'm searching for it.
Yeah.
You know, to learn.
It's a healing in it.
Yeah, I remember I could tell it was therapeutic for her.
Yeah, it is. It's very
therapeutic. Yeah.
And you can, the more knowledge that you have about everything, the more therapeutic it can be.
Exactly.
The last thing you want is to come out to your garden and be at war with nature all the time.
Oh my God, yes.
It's no problem to protect what you have, but you don't want to be in a war-like mind state. You know?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That little moth that's flying around, the little white moth, that's a cabbage moth.
Now, what is a cabbage moth?
That little white moth that's flying around.
What do they do?
So they will put holes in any of your brassicas. Anything that's in the brassica family. They have a caterpillar that loves it. You know, they can, if it's a lot of them, they can put in some work on your kale or your collards.
Got it.
I've seen them a lot in the garden.
Okay.
Yeah, they can decimate
and
some things.
And see me, I would be looking at them like, oh, look at the pretty moth, the pretty butterflies, or you know what I mean? Like not really seeing the damage that they could cause.
So then that's when you want to bring in your other beneficial insects. You
know,
create habitats for things.
Like bug houses. I've seen that before. Like bug houses on the outside of their garden.
For bees. Yeah, seen mason beehives. Something that you can make out of like reeds. We put them in a box because rainbow chard. There's some melons back there too that a community member made. You want to get a look at that.
Okay,
but that's back there in the weeds.
And these are chard?
Yeah, that's rainbow chard.
Rainbow chard. These are making me hungry right here. I love chard.
People pick. People pick. Like I said, it's been no pesticides on it. Things are kind of just growing, you know. But one thing about having all the grass and the so-called weeds and stuff is that you have beneficials that live in it. It's a home for spiders. It's a home for ladybugs. Home for praying mantis. You know, the birds come because they want the sunflower seeds, but the birds will carry away a beetle or a grub or a caterpillar or a moth. You know. Yeah, they'll get some seeds and then they'll help themselves out to something else. So, you know, people were growing food on the side of the road. And, you know,
yeah, they're very pretty.
There's some melons back there growing in the.
Where are the melons? Oh yes.
Way.
Where are the melons? Yeah, I really appreciate you doing this, and the educate, you know.
And then there's stuff here that we call weeds. This is red clover.
Yeah.
That's what I have. That's what I have to get now because I'm fighting some issues, health issues, and this is one of the things they told me I need to get. Yeah, red clover, burdock root.
This is yellow dock, so it's in the burdock family.
Okay.
This is burdock.
That's burdock.
So this is a first year burdock. You would get the root from this.
You get the root from that. Okay.
This is chicory.
Chicory.
Yes.
Okay.
They put that in coffee.
Oh, you identify.
Yeah.
The chicory root is in a lot of beverages.
Because you know, me and Tamara, I was having a conversation with her saying like I wanted us to start foraging because I walk by stuff like this and don't know what it is, and I want to learn how to identify and be able to forage because I know I've seen those plants growing wild and didn't know what they were.
Yes. And they all have a benefit. Yes, this is a melon patch.
Melon patch.
And it's
Look.
all these flowers will get pollinated because
Look
we
at
have
that.
all those other flowers.
Okay.
So this is
So each one
Honeydew.
of those flowers had a potential.
That's one of
to
my
be a-
favorite melons. So this is
What kind is it?
honeydew.
There's a lot of little baby ones growing there.
yes.
And see
Let me
this
see. Where's the
insect?
baby
I see
ones? Oh,
See the little,
there we
Right there.
go.
Yeah, got them all,
and they have
all
little
different sizes.
fur on them. I call it fur just to keep the pests off.
Yeah, it does
It's a
protect
natural
them.
defense.
And these are the
There's
flowers.
a bunch of them growing right here in a cluster. Wow.
Of
Cluster of melons.
melons. Yeah, it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
The tomatoes are just volunteer tomatoes that was in the soil.
What are voluntary tomatoes? What do you mean?
Voluntary tomatoes. Okay, so say you grow cherry tomatoes, which is because that variety of tomato is more close to its wild, natural
Right.
variety. It doesn't take much for it to reseed in the soil, and it don't need you to come back next year. So it don't need you to replant. All the cherry tomato gotta do is hit the ground or a bird
And
drop it,
Right, and it'll
come right back.
another plant will grow from it.
And
Yeah.
me, if I saw it growing in my yard, I would mow it down. See, because I don't
If it
know.
was in the spring, yeah, you
I
may not see it.
I would not see it or recognize it. Yeah.
So yeah, they do pop up early in the spring. You know, you just look out for where you planted your tomatoes. Most likely it's going to be a cherry tomato.
Okay, so this is a voluntary tomato.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
yeah, they see real
I
easy.
have some of them.
Give you plenty of fruit.
Yeah, lots of baby melons.
So the melon
Baby
patch,
melons.
very nice.
Hope.
So do you all come out here and water it, or
No.
there's a little, okay, y'all don't.
We do water.
How the
we,
weeds are growing, I thought maybe y'all.
Well, we have so much rain, you didn't need to
we
water it.
didn't need the water. There's all this
Yeah,
grass,
this-
you know.
in August, right? This
Yeah.
month.
But you know, we do have water. We have a water hookup that we can use. We can water things when we have bell peppers out here or things that need a little bit more water.
How can I mean? I know this might sound silly, but how can you tell if it's lacking water or if it's too much water?
Okay, so my good rule of thumb is this. You know what kind of plant it is first and what its water requirements are. And then you look at the soil. You look at
Okay,
the soil.
the
So if you
soil.
come over here, we'll go over here to this spot.
Okay.
This is pigweed.
Oh, I like this quote.
What is this one called?
Pigweed.
Pig, like P-I-G?
Pigweed, or it's a native variety of callaloo.
Oh,
Yeah.
callaloo.
So it's also edible.
I love callaloo.
It's in the family of amaranth. So this is like amaranth seeds.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's you can look at it as a weed
What
if
is
you
it
want to, or
called?
you can look at it as a food
It
source.
does look like amaranth, this part.
It is amaranth.
Oh, it is amaranth.
Yeah.
What
You're
you call
good
it?
tomorrow,
This
you
is
know.
pigweed, but
Pigweed.
pigweed, yeah.
Okay.
But it's a native variety of like an amaranth or a callaloo.
Okay.
Our Caribbean folks eat. You know what I mean? I eat. But yeah, you can eat this.
Okay.
You know, it's a wild
edible. Okay.
All right, so I'll look at the soil. So, you know, just take this. This box has had, it's got a lot of leaves in it. We take also leaves. We add a lot of, you don't have to always buy compost. You can make your soil too. So we gather leaves in the fall, then we get a leaf chipper and we shred up the leaves right here. And then what you see is the whole leaves on top. But as you get deeper in the soil, you see it's good and
breaking
broken
down.
down, you know. So if you go down in the soil like this, you see that moisture there, you know that it doesn't need much water, you know.
Right.
Depending on the plant. Now when you pour water on the soil, you want the water to seep into the soil. And sometimes it doesn't automatically seep into the soil. When soil gets dry, especially if it has a lot of compost on it, it can get kind of hydrostatic. It can, water won't absorb in it. It'll run around it. So you want to put water on it, then you want to look at it and see if it's saturated. Pour some more water on it. Slow water that's allowed to absorb slowly is better than a lot of water at one time.
Okay.
And that's ultimately how you tell how much you're watering a plant.
Okay.
Now the soil should never be like you squeeze it and then you have a lot of water running out.
And
Right.
there's too much water. Okay.
Too much water. And I can squeeze that and it breaks up real easy, lets me know to have lots of good carbon and humus in it. So this is good soil. I'm happy with this soil. It didn't start out like this. This is every year we're adding stuff to it and making it.
And it's growing and thriving.
Yeah, we added some cover crops to the boxes, some clover.
Now, what's a cover crop? That's a new term.
A cover crop is a plant that you put in a box to add nitrogen or add organic material back into the soil that you're going to turn in.
Okay.
So a cover crop could be anything like clover. It could be red clover like this. It could be a hairy vetch clover.
What do you call it?
It's a kind of clover called a hairy vetch.
Hairy
Okay,
vetch.
now I've seen people plant clover in like the fall and winter.
That's cover crop.
That's why they did that. Okay.
It
I
could
saw
be a
that.
bean plant.
Yeah, I saw that in the winter. Okay.
Yeah, you can put beans down. It could be you can do a green manure. It could be something like kale. You could do a cover crop of kale and then till it into the soil.
Oh, okay. So it just gives life back into the soil. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
there's many different kinds of cover crops. It could be buckwheat,
buckwheat.
it could be alfalfa.
Yeah, those ones I've seen people plant in the winter.
Buckwheat, if you use the right kind of buckwheat, lots of bees. You get lots of pollinators and then you can till it in.
I like this quote. This is my motivation for
Yeah.
wildlife farming, especially when we do it on the continent.
So, let's see the memory of energy. All right, this is nice. This is beautiful. Okay, bees. I'm not gonna scream.
This one again.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's gonna reseed.
Oh, the amaranth one there too.
Right. You know, the amaranth we didn't bring
That's
here.
the
It was
basil,
already
right?
here. Yeah, but the wild basil.
Wild basil. is
Wild
what it's
basil.
Yeah, rattlesnake basil.
called. I never had that.
Rattlesnake basil.
Yeah, different names.
Look at all
Colloquial
these
names.
bees. You never see, your garden is
In
love.
the DMV, you
Because
don't
you
see
never
this.
see bees. I'm dead serious. We don't see bees.
Not like this.
Not like this. I don't see. I can go all summer and not see a bee.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, many issues. It's a cumulative effect. But there's homeowners here, you know, it's people with gardens and yards, but you also don't have a lot of people that's going to invest in a whole bunch of Roundup and weed killer they're going to spray in their backyards. So all that helps the ecology. All that helps the ecology. We're not far from rivers, we're not far from woods, you know.
Because it would not fall.
So,
Not far from them. Bees can forage. I think I've seen things that say about 10 miles or 6 miles.
Bells.
Oh.
Okay.
I'll probably stick with 6 miles in circumference.
So I have a
I know that for
question
sure.
for you, because we're like right now, we're like looking for land. What would be an ideal environment to look for? Because I'm really focused on like mountain areas and maybe being near like a water source. But also I know in the mountains you have to either think about trees and things of that nature as well. What do you look at as an ideal kind of environment to start a small family farm? Like, you know, just for like, you know, not for so much for production, but just for your daily eating.
Yeah, that's a very good question. My Baba always said there's as many ways to grow food as there's stars in the sky. And it just depends on those variables, your soil, your sunlight,
Okay.
you know, your water, and what you're trying to grow and for what purpose. I would say get some books on agriculture first so that you can understand all the ways or some of the ways that in which one can produce foods, right?
Okay.
I like all of the indigenous farming practices, you know. So all your indigenous farming practices can allow you to have the flexibility to grow food in any terrain in most climates and most kind of situations.
Okay.
You know, that combined with a little bit of technology can allow you to grow food in very challenging places where you wouldn't be able to.
Right.
So like for example, if it is soil that's rocky, or you know there's boulders, it's rocky, then you would never consider digging down as much as you would consider building up.
Gotcha.
You know, so building up in a method like this would be ideal for you. You wouldn't
Okay.
have to block off the parent soil. It's not that rocky soil doesn't have nutrients in it. It means that nutrients is locked away in those rocks, you know, and you would spend so much labor digging down, you know.
Got it.
So if you could make your own compost and you can build up, even if it's
Right.
slowly over time, then you would reap maximum benefits. You know?
Right,
And
okay.
then what you can grow would depend on how deep your soil level is.
Got
So
you.
some of these
Right.
boxes are, most of the boxes are a foot or 2 feet tall.
Right.
The soil level may not be in that,
Right.
but you can grow green leafy vegetables in 6 inches of soil.
Okay.
You know. But then if you need something it needs deep roots, it needs to pull deeply. You know, you try and grow sweet potatoes or potatoes. You know, you need some more workable soil. However, sweet potatoes are real versatile. It doesn't need to be that workable, but you need to be able to get the tuber in there, the spud in there to start.
Okay.
So you know, you have those sorts of things, but then you have situations where you interplant things together. You know, where like what I saw in Africa, I saw them growing. There's certain plants that fix nitrogen, like beans,
Right.
but also certain trees fix nitrogen too. Like,
Yeah, I seen that too.
yeah, trees that are in the locust family.
Yeah.
Is that one? No, that's a tree of heaven or Atlantis. But anyways, there's certain trees that are nitrogen fixing, right? And they do a lot with growing those trees with other plants that need more nitrogen. You know, so those are things that can be done. I've seen them make a trellis with cut pieces of different kind of locust trees, plant the beans, and the beans run up the locust trees that start to grow, and they just keep the branches pruned on. You know, so you know, I saw some beautiful
That's like an example of grafting.
a companion planting, or
Companion
using the height as something for a vine to go up, but also the fact that it makes nitrogen too.
Okay.
If it's on a hillside, look at some things that have to do with terracing, growing food terracing style. You know, hillsides can sometimes suffer too much erosion when water comes down. So you can look at first establishing plants that will lock in the soil, maybe small shrubs, some fruiting trees, some fruiting berries or something like that.
Okay.
You know, some type of grassy type of plants that's still going to provide you food. Maybe it's you know, some sort of grain, you see. And over time, those plants will help to build more soil. And you can look at terracing those things.
Okay.
So it's many different indigenous ways.
You're opening my third eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just when it comes to the food, because I'm not gonna lie, it's a little intimidating for me.
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be.
You know, and so I always loved getting with Tamara because she, you know, compared to me, she's so knowledgeable, and I learned so much about little things, and so I'm glad she brought me here today. I want to thank all our ancestors for leaving these little nuggets so that we can become better. Isn't this amazing, guys? I love it. Look at these flowers. Ooh, love it. This is my favorite flower, the sunflower.
Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Glory. They're pretty. I would love to see the chicken.
Sometimes you'll wonder if you will be all you can be, and doubt can cloud your hopes and your dreams. It's natural to ponder how you will turn out in the end.
Like this, and every morning we would come out and pick fresh chicken, like fresh eggs.
Okay, yeah.
And I would look, my kids were so proud. They were like, "Can we go play with the chicken?" They were naming them. I'm like, "That's not
Yeah,
pet."
they all
Egg
down
laying
there.
hens.
Yeah, they're all egg laying hens, but they're not laying too many eggs now. They're like, some of them are 5 years old. So they're supposed to lay an
So-
egg a day. We probably get like 2 eggs every couple of weeks.
So when they stop
You don't have a
producing,
rooster?
No rooster.
That's why you need to have a rooster here. That
Yeah.
he kind of make them feel happy.
so yeah, that's what men do to us. You
Make
know.
us feel happy.
They make us feel happy.
Happy,
Yeah,
and
that's
the
real.
The city don't want us to have no roosters here.
Because it makes too much noise.
We can't.
Are you
They have all
serious?
sorts of reasons, but you know,
Oh, because of the noise.
for the noise.
I grew up hearing that every morning. So
Yeah, in Ethiopia, that's all you hear every morning.
I
was
mean,
like,
but let's consider the fact if you could have roosters, then that means you could have an unlimited supply of chickens. That means you could have an unlimited supply of meat and eggs. It means you could open up your own.
Or you
right.
could expand this and people in the
Right.
neighborhood could come up here and, for a few dollars
That
buy
makes
eggs.
sense.
Yeah.
Now, when the
Some of them rough.
what do you call them? What you say hens, right?
Yeah.
When they stop producing eggs, does that when they become fried chicken?
Fried chicken, they could, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of these birds, it's different ones at the bottom.
Okay.
The weeds are so tall, I don't know how you'll be able to see them underneath, but the coop is designed where
Yeah.
they can go underneath the bottom and
And
be
come
able to get in
out.
the soil and do their little thing. They can come up here and roost.
Oh, those
You
are
know,
roosting spaces.
Yeah, they can roost, and then those are where they put
Okay,
their eggs
I'm
at.
ignorant. What's roost?
Roost is
Where they
at
sit down
night.
and rest
Yeah.
at night.
Gotcha.
They like to be up off the ground. They won't stay on the ground at night.
Okay.
So they'll climb up on those pieces of wood, and they'll get real tight, and they'll all be up there. And then you can take all
They
the.
snuggle together and they just go to sleep.
Okay. Oh, that's so sweet.
Hey, Mr. Charles. Hey, how you doing, man? Doing good, brother.
All
Good
right.
to see you too. Then you can you get all the chicken manure.
Ujima for our fathers and mothers. Ujima for our sisters and brothers. Ujima's whenever we help each other by working together. Ujima is to understand that everybody needs a hand. Ujima's whenever we help each other by working together. Never suppose it's true. What happens to you has no effect whatsoever on me. My friend, you see, that will never be. Why? We're all connected. We're intersected. That is the spirit of community.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes.
And they are.
And that's what's used
Almost
for.
ready for harvest. This is what's used to add the citrus kind of taste in the beer.
Okay.
Hop spear. Yep.
And this,
I've never seen it in the wild before, so I just didn't know.
yeah. So like when we were talking about sustainability, if
Right.
you're trying to grow food and make money from it, or to have agricultural product, this is a product where you can actually make money from.
So I have a
So you
question.
just let it grow on vines. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
Well, if you were to set this up to maximize your growth,
Yeah.
your poles can be 16 feet up in the air,
Oh, okay.
and this vine will grow 16 feet up in the air and then connect, and you'll see a wall of vines. Then,
All hot.
you know, in a couple of weeks, you get a lot of people out here, take down all the vines and pick this. That pollen inside is the part that you want. You pick these hops, and you can dry them, or you may be able to find a buyer to buy them green.
Okay.
You know, and this is something that can make sustainability on the farm. This is an agricultural product that you can make money from.
Right. Because I know they use hops in a lot of products.
Big grasshopper. That was bigger than the other one.
Now, okay, I'm seeing all this land and everything. Is this like a co-op, or is it people own it? How does the city, you know how our city is
Yeah,
in regards to
yeah.
doing all this natural things?
Yeah.
And I mean, you had to get like some kind of permit for it?
Certain cities, they have like adopt a lot programs or programs where you can take a lot and then do that. You know, this community is there was more projects. They just got tore down, but this community has been ravaged by
You see,
the bankers.
you see how they do?
Yeah. I mean, all these abandoned houses, this whole block is abandoned. This is done by the banksters. You know what I mean? The gangsters.
Yep, the banksters. You're
You know what I
right.
mean? This is
It's a real
that was
process.
all houses too. You know, right at this point, we've outsurpassed our capacity to be able to be sustainable with as much land as we have. But as a collective, if we were all on collective pages, especially in a city like Baltimore, where gentrification hasn't totally took over these areas, we could do a lot. You know, all this land could be productive, and it could be growing crops like hops or grapes, and you could be supplying jobs to the community.
Right.
You know what I mean? It could be self-sufficient.
You know, that's not what they want.
Yeah, this is
you
a
know?
writing spot.
He likes to rap and rhyme and make it laugh until you fall.
I've never seen that kind of.
She likes to dance around, do crazy motions.
A globe?
He
That's
likes
a globe
to strike the
spider?
drum
See the
and
little,
get some
a glow spider, a writing spider, is actually eating something now. One of my little projects of bring critters from
So you bring them.
out in the county, out and we bring them here and they get established.
Love it.
Yeah, but those are
Yeah,
some
the
of your.
hops are
What are
growing
these?
all over.
What are these berries?
No, that is poke
Yep, those are
weed,
poke
but you
berries.
can eat that too. My grandmother used to eat that in Virginia.
What is it called?
The weed, the leaf part you can eat called poke weed.
Yeah, it's poke.
Okay.
Poke, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you would eat poke only in its first year,
Okay.
and you would eat it when it has
You don't
no
eat the
purple
berries
in the
though.
stem.
Okay.
And you eat it when the plant is short, and you need to boil the green
Okay.
and drain the water off it 4 times before you can then add it to other greens and stuff. But yeah, our people.
We have so much food
What's
that
up?
could be. We can live healthy, fight the mucus out of our system, fight disease, and we just don't know.
That's why it's called a pot of greens.
Pot of
Anything
greens.
you can make a pot of green
Greens
with.
and-
Some
You know
mustard,
what? You're
some
so
poke,
right.
some cabbage, some kale.
Kale,
You know,
spinach, and collard greens.
yeah.
Nia means purpose. Nia means purpose. Nia means purpose. Say Nia means purpose. Who has a purpose? Who has a purpose? We all have a purpose. We all have a purpose. We all have a purpose. We all have a purpose.
Yeah.
Wild
so this is
spinach.
also in the family of amaranth, the same as that pigweed. But this one is a more choice edible too when it's fresh. You can take the tip of that and cook with that.
You can, okay.
Yeah, it tastes good. It doesn't have a bitter taste or offensive taste at all.
Okay.
You know, and
Wild
it's
spinach.
highly nutritious.
Okay, I've never seen that one.
Yeah.
That's why you look so fit, because this is how you eat most days.
I do incorporate some of the wild foods into my stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
vegan?
I am.
Okay.
Have faith,
Yeah.
you're a child of God, and you are strong, and you were put here to win. Have faith in yourself, in family and God. Believe in your dreams. Live life by that, live life by that faith, not by your feet, not by your feet. And strong you will be.
It's called smart weed, like SMART.
Yes.
Smart weed. Okay. Okay. So that one you can do tincture.
We named after Fannie Lou Hamer because of her work with agriculture and co-ops, black co-ops. She did a lot of work with creating institutions that were sustainable with farmers. They were sharecroppers that allowed people to have independence, allowed people to start to create economic power. You know, through cooperatives that were around food. You know, so and she did so much more. You know, her legacy. You know, her legacy is heavy, and she's not sung enough as far as like her achievements.
Right.
You know, so Fannie Lou Hamer definitely has to be mentioned not just because of the food connection, but her political activities as well. How she could translate food into politics, to social issues, and then create an economic power. So Fang Luhamer, great shero, she had to be mentioned. Tubman House, when we occupied the house up top, there's an artist that's here, a black artist named Ernest Shaw. He painted a mural inside of the house of our patron saint, Harriet Tubman. That mural, we took it off the house before it got demolished. It's in the trailer. But Harriet Tubman, for what her legacy is, of leading people to freedom. Not just her, but all the other sheroes and heroes that did that same work whose name is not mentioned. There's a rich legacy behind that, and there's a lot of rich symbolism behind that that's still very necessary. So, the Sundar Kohli part, he's a political prisoner, and this farm was started by Marshall Eddie Conway, a former political prisoner, former Black Panther.
Okay.
And his partner, Dominic Stevenson. So, wanted to incorporate that aspect in it for the political prisoners that have been locked down.
Yeah, my cousin was a Black Panther. Thank you for sharing. You educated us. I love it.
Blessings of this Kwanzaa are yours and mine. There's an open invitation to be close to the ones we love, to remind ourselves what we're made of. Come along, come one and all, be a special part of the festival. We'll have a happy Kwanzaa, a joyful time, a heartfelt celebration. The blessings of this Kwanzaa.
I love the sunflowers. I learned so much. I did not realize how much there is into gardening. It's a skill, it's an art.